Wisconsin. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 37, Thursday sunny with a high near 49, and Friday sunny with a high around 55.
Looking for gourmet quality food in a relaxed cafe setting? Cafe Latte's ever-changing menu of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups has something for everyone. Don't miss their pizza and wine bar or fresh-baked treats from their bakery. Visit Cafe Latte at Victoria and Grand or online at cafelatte.com.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanjahade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Dega. This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, Wendy, have you seen any good plays lately?
Actually, I have. It's a wonderful show playing right now off Broadway in New York City called Distant Thunder.
It would be great if we could get the star and the writer on.
Wouldn't it be just fantastic?
Hey, welcome, Sean. Welcome, and introduce yourself in a good way. We are so pleased and proud to have you on. What a great performance. And Wendy and I are theater snobs, and we really, really, really love Distant Thunder.
Oh, thank you. Nixu Coax, Nistuane Coke, Sean. Hello, my relatives. My name's Sean. Thank you so much, you guys, for having me on. It was such a pleasure to have you in the audience for Distant Thunder. And we're just having so much fun here. Off-Broadway first.
Podcast is brought.
Musical off-Broadway. It's so awesome.
We got to do the show before the play, and it's at ART New York Theaters, 502 West 53rd Street. And it's a musical, and I'm telling you, I love the mixture of traditional music mixed in with Broadway music. It was amazing, Wendy.
Yeah, but Sean, what we want you to do is tell the audience what the show is about, but don't give away too much.
Yeah.
Yes, that's always hard because I want to talk about the whole thing. But it's very, very much a coming home story, and it's also about language preservation. A lot of it is based on my journey with my Blackfeet community. And a character comes home with great intentions for an economic opportunity, which ends up threatening the language immersion school where the Blackfeet language is taught. And the whole community gets involved on both sides of what's needed. And a lot of it, much like the main character coming in, I come from more of a pop music background, and I collaborated in this show with the Florendo family, and we included a lot of their powwow songs with our pop music to create this unique blend to make a new Native American musical. But it centers around Indian Days in the Blackfeet community, which is where I first went at 15 as I reconnected coming back home. And it's kind of very humorous as well as the audience follows this character immersing himself back into a community that embraces him ultimately. But I won't tell you all the things that happen, but it deals with a lot of the issues that young people face in our different communities, and that idea of how do we take on the teachings from our elders. How do we really work hard to maintain those teachings and use them in our modern day world? And it's been a lot of years we've been working on this, so a lot of my own experiences from the ceremonial world and all the lessons I've been learning are in this. And they, when I first started going into Okan ceremony with the Blackfeet, they called me New York because I I didn't have a lot of experience growing up with horses, putting up teepees or anything like that, but they threw me right in, and we have a lot of fun now, and they make fun of me out of love, but I'm getting better. So
well, Sean, too, it's based on a book, and do you want to talk a little bit about the book, and then you turned it into a play, correct?
Well, my mom and I, it's original. We wrote the story ourselves. My mom is the one that took me to Browning when I was 15, and I asked her a long time ago, could you help me write this story, since you were there for so many years with me and seeing everything I've been through. And so we wrote this play together over 12, 13 years. And my writing partner, Chris Wiseman, wrote the music, but a lot of this is our own family dynamic, and a lot of the arguments, as a family between my dad, and it's very much a father-son story, and reconciling a relationship and reconcile families working out problems. A lot of that is from our family, and a lot of that dialogue is very, like, I can remember a few times, I remember hearing that. so it's very personal, and that was very scary at first, but actually now I feel okay airing out my whole life for everybody.
I have to also say, Sean, you have a wonderful singing voice, which I didn't know, because we saw you in a play, a different play.
Was that Between Two Knees?
Yes,
that's
Between
right.
Two Knees. Yes, that's where we originally saw you. And now this one, you're singing, you're dancing. Tell us a little bit about the music and how you came up with all, like, the lyrics of the music. And the other cast members in this show are just so, like, dynamic and wonderful. Was there like did they have to try out? Were there a lot of people who came forward, or did you personally pick these, people?
Well, over so many years. I mean, when we first started, I have to give credit to Native Voices at the Autry in Los Angeles. We didn't know where to look for cast members. I mean, I had friends, and we had demos that they helped us make. But as far as, like, really, we have 15 Indigenous actors on the stage, and that's very, very rare, especially for a musical. But we always wanted to find the top Indigenous talent around the whole country. And so some of our members, including one of them there in this picture, Spencer Batiste, he looks very young still. He's been with the show since 2012 and from LA. And then Michelle Rios, we did In the Heights together in New York. But the Florendo family I met when I was in Oregon. And they just were, Brent is an educator and an artist, and he just took me around the drum. He sat me down on the drum for the first time, and I learned his family songs. It's been years of finding all of these top talented actors. But what's really exciting is when I first started acting in New York, I didn't know a lot of other Native actors in musical theater. But when we had auditions in New York, there were so many young Native actors coming out of college programs, musical theater programs, that came in, and they blew me away. It made me so happy, because it just seems like more and more Native artists are seeing that as an opportunity for their careers. And so Aubie Billy, she's Seminole. She was a high school student, 2016, and she's one of the most talented young actors I've ever found. I think she'll be a Broadway star. And she came back this audition process and just blew it out of the water. And it was like, we have to work with her. So it's kind of like through those artists, we also meet their friends, and that's how we accumulate all this incredible talent.
It's unbelievable.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
And, Wendy, we got to just ask quick, it's Distant Thunder. It's off-Broadway show. What's the website so people can look at that during the commercial break?
Oh, that's great. So it's amasmusical.org, AMAS musical.org. And you can see all the dates and the cast bios the history of the show, and it's a great place to check out.
Hey, we are talking about Distant Thunder, which is my native name, and we're really excited. Wendy's jumped on here too because we're theater snobs, and this was a great play, musical.
Awesome, yes.
Hey, we'll be right back, and this is Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
Unwanted sexting or photos, inappropriate jokes, even tickling or wrestling can feel like a violation. Catcalling, cornering, or groping, getting them drunk or high for sex, recording sexual acts without permission, hurting someone because of their sexual orientation, raping a family member, a child, a date, a friend, a stranger, purchasing a human being for sex. You make the choice every single time. Sexual violence is many things. Make a choice. Do not do it.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
Hey, it's Tom. Let's talk about solar. Not just as a smart choice for clean energy, but as a powerful investment in your future. With All Energy Solar, you get a system that can actually pay for itself in as little as 8 years. And once it's up and running, you're looking at low maintenance and a lot of savings. All Energy Solar has been helping Minnesotans move to clean, affordable energy for over 15 years. They'll work with you to create a personalized energy system, no matter how unique your home or business might be. And All Energy Solar will walk you through every step, from the proposal to design work on your roof, right down to working with your utility company to flip the switch. And they make sure you're saving as much as possible with every rebate and incentive available. So make the switch to solar, cut your energy bills, and do something great for the planet. Book your free solar assessment today at allenergysolar.com. That's allenergysolar.com.
Hi, this is Governor Walz. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
Then we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, Wendy, who do we have on today? We have a great guest here, Sean Taylor Colbert, and he's an actor, writer, and creator of Distant Thunder, a new American musical off Broadway. And again, we saw that great play, and I just loved, I know you were talking about music, I just loved how they incorporated kind of Broadway music with traditional drum music. I got teary-eyed.
I felt like there were certain times during the play that I felt like I was at a powwow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, it opens it opens with a powwow and is the best thing ever. It's just because the audience is like not expecting it. You're expecting to see like, oh, we're at the theater, and then all of a sudden you're just brought into this powwow, into Indian days, and it's beautiful because that's where it all began for me. And what impacted me the most when I first went to Browning, it's what and you just, it was so magical for me. So that we get to do that with the audience each show, it just starts it off. And then all of a sudden, then it switches real quick, and my character, comes on, and I'm clearly an outsider, and it's just like, whoa, where are we going with this? And so it's kind of like that balance, of powwow music, powwow dancing with regalia, and then like this outsider, and I'm singing a pop song at first, and slowly the worlds kind of blend, and that's what makes this so unique.
And it pops, and it's really done well. Wendy, I know you have a couple questions.
I have like a million questions going through my mind, but I always like to ask people, like, how did you get started in this, or what was your inspiration to become an actor?
Well,
and if you weren't an actor and you weren't doing this, what would you want to do?
Well, I didn't, it was kind of hard for me because I grew up with a family of artists, and my mother is a director and choreographer. And I grew up in ballet classes, and tech rehearsals and around musical theater, and then my father was in the recording industry, and he brought me to recording studios. So I was and funny enough, when I was a young kid, I played in 8th grade. I played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, and I thought I was amazing. But I realized, everyone's laughing because, it's a small native brown guy doing an old Jewish man, and they thought that was the funniest thing ever. And I thought they must love me, but I love, so my whole family just really influenced me, and I wanted to give it a shot, and thank goodness I did. I love working with my mom, and I love everything I've gotten to do in my career. But if I hadn't been an actor, I was studying international relations, and I wanted to be a diplomat.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I spent time in the Middle East, and spent time in Israel, and I spent time in Colombia, Asia, and I thought, really, that's what I'm going to do. But then when it came time to do that, I thought, I want to work somehow with my native people, and I don't want to be away so much. So now I found a way to do that and be an artist. And
wow.
Sean, I don't know if you remember when Wendy and I met you before the play, and I said, my name's Distant Thunder, and you said,
my name is also Distant Thunder in the Piikani language. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is wild.
Really is. Could you tell our audience how you say your native name in your native way?
Yeah, it's Ihpioxistikum. Ihpioxistikum. That's Distant Thunder. In Nitsipoachsin, which is the Blackfeet language. And I'm getting better, and I'm working on the language every year. I go back, and it's really like there's nothing like being immersed with first speakers when you're to learn the language. That's how I learn it best. And but I got that name 5 years ago during the Okan ceremony. But it was just so cool that. How do you say it, Robert? How do you say your name?
Wakanjahade.
Wakanjahade. That's right.
Yeah, Distant Thunder. And I came back to my tribe after being gone many, many years, like yourself, and I just think our name is so apropos because we've come back, and we're making things happen.
That's exactly right, and I'm so blown away by what you all are doing, and huge fan of you guys. So it's in the play. Well, I won't give away too much more, but Distant Thunder, the name, is a significant thing in the play as well, and it's has to do with some of the younger people who are deciding if they want to stay. What's the significance of learning their language and their culture, and so that name has a big significance in the show.
Well, we've been keeping track of you, and there's been a few people that have showed up that we went, whoa, do you want to name drop for us? Because that's amazing that people are there coming to support you, like you said earlier.
Yeah, so opening night, I didn't know if he would come, but Lin-Manuel Miranda showed up at the opening, the writer and creator of Hamilton and In the Heights and songs from Moana. He's got Warrior coming out, a new album, Warriors. So that meant the world to me. We worked together on In the Heights, and he's been following this journey. And he and his father, Luis Miranda, they really wanted to support us and help us bring this unique voice to musical theater, which has never been done, a native voice. And so they were there.
That was
really
awesome.
Really special.
I want you to name drop the people that did your poster, because I was just looking at it again, and I kind of get emotional because that kind of tells the story.
You mean the one here? Yeah,
Well,
Marissa, arranged all this actual design, and she put it together. Marissa Quintanilla, who was our original Dorothy. in LA in 2012. And it's pretty significant because it does, it's pretty much how the start of the show feels like, and it's kind of going back home, but I'm an outsider. I'm a lawyer, and I come right into Indian Days, which is how I saw my first impression of Browning was driving over this hill to like 60 teepees and during Indian Days. And it was just beautiful. So yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
Really great time.
And we should ask, how long is the show going? I think till October 27th, right?
Yeah, the show goes until October 27th, and we have 7 shows a week. So Tuesday through Friday at 7 p.m. Saturday we have 2 shows, 3 p.m. and 7:30, and then Sunday at 3 p.m. And we have 2 more weeks.
We were in the front row when.
Yeah, we were in the front row, and it felt like I was like right in there on the stage with you guys, and it was just, the music and the songs, and I was so emotional. Like I teared up a few times, and I laughed, so it had everything. Like I was laughing, I was crying, it was just really, really, really heartfelt, really very emotional. And I just have to say, it was wonderful. It really was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I got emotional when I heard the high singing native voice too.
Oh,
in the background. Listen, that just really hit me.
Ava Florendo, she is she's probably one of the top singers I've ever heard in my life. She's like, so having her voice and her artistry in there is just, it blows the audience away. You have to come and see her perform. It's truly amazing. I was going to say as well, what's interesting is that I'm used to doing musicals in really large theaters, and you're very, like you both were saying, this is a very intimate space. And so you get an extra, I don't know, something extra from being so close to you feel like you're in it a lot of the times. Yeah. And we have to be, when you're in a big space, sometimes you can kind of get away with a few things, but when you're in that space, everyone sees everything. So you have to be fully immersed in every moment. Otherwise it won't read true,
Well, musicals are not only singing, but there was a lot of dancing, and there was a few times I wanted to get up and join in.
Well, that's what I mean, there are a couple moments we were thinking, next time we do it, we have to give the audience permission to, in one of the bars, to like clap along or get up maybe at some point and dance. Although my mom would, as a director, have a nightmare. Like, how do we make sure, and then I've been in shows where people come on and they kind of take over a little bit, and you're like, oh no, how do we stop?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that.
Hey, Haley, we got a minute left. Do you want to just throw out the deets here real quick again?
I mean, the website is, I don't have it up in front of me right now.
It's amasmusical.org. So AMAS musical.org. And it's at Art New York Theaters, 502 West 53rd Street, on the corner of 10th Avenue. And we run until October 27th. And, if you find me on Instagram, or actually Distant Thunder the Musical on Instagram, give us a follow. I'm Sean TC 37, and all the info will be up there.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for being on. We got to do this again real soon. Good luck, and we can't wait to see the play again.
Absolutely.
Thank you both. Thank you all 3 of you.
A big peeny gigi. Hey, we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Again, that's vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, I'm Claudia with MinSure, Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. With MinSure, you can compare health plans from multiple companies and get free help from a trusted expert. Whatever health plan you choose with MinSure, it's guaranteed to cover essential benefits, so you can get the care you need. See if you qualify for discounts, available only through MinSure. If you need quality comprehensive health insurance, get started now at minsure.org.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
AM 950 KTNF St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It's time to experience the amazing flavors of eatlocalminnesota.com. It's your key to unlocking the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities. Nightingale off 26th and Lindale is where good times and great flavors unite. Chef Carrie keeps it fresh with seasonal dishes, or savor classics like the Nightingale Burger, steak tartare, and irresistible chocolate pot de crème. Explore tasty vegetarian, vegan, and gluten-free options, and enjoy craft cocktails, curated wines, and half-price wine bottles every Monday. Open daily 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. More at nightingalempls.com. Maverick's Real Roast Beef in Roseville sets the bar when it comes to roast beef sandwiches. But let's not forget their other mouthwatering offerings. From Philly steak to turkey bacon avocado, BLT, crispy chicken, fish, brisket, and pulled pork, the menu is a flavor-packed delight. Don't miss out on their delicious variety. Explore the full menu at mavericksbeef.com. Your taste buds will thank you.
Is your remote workforce putting your company at risk? Cyber criminals are targeting your employees with COVID-19 inspired emails and attacking businesses like yours. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. Rymark has the tools and expertise to enable your employees to work securely from home. If you need help getting your staff to work remotely and securely, call 651-328-8900 or go to rymarkit.com. That's 651-328-8900 or rymarkit.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 37, Thursday sunny with a high near 49, and Friday sunny with a high around 55.
Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been a hotspot for American eats and desserts. Enjoy gourmet salads, sandwiches, and soups with a unique cafeteria-style setup. Don't miss the pizza and wine bar offering gourmet pizzas and over 30 wines by the glass. Explore the bakery for fresh treats. Located off Victoria and Grand, more at cafelatte.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Strong Hearts Native Helpline. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Strong Hearts offers culturally appropriate support and advocacy for Native Americans. You can call or text them for free anytime at 1-8447-NATIVE or chat online at strongheartshelpline.org.
Hey, we're going to have our special guest here, our friend Rita Arndt, who's program and outreach manager with Native American Initiatives at the Minnesota Historical Society. Welcome, as always. Great to see you. I feel like I've seen you all the time now all of a sudden.
I know. I hope you're not sick of me. I'm totally not sick of you yet.
Well, cool. We have the fun stories to share with people, and it's always good to see you and your crew out in the community. And again, a big Pinigi. You had that picture of a Ho Chunk back in the day for me, and I really appreciate you thinking about us here in Minnesota. One of the questions I want to start off with is, where is the Minnesota History Center located?
That is a good question. Our main location is the Minnesota History Center, which is located in downtown St. Paul. It is essentially off of 94 and Kellogg Boulevard. I like to say it's across the highway from the Capitol because it is. And so it's really, that's where you can kind of locate us.
Yeah, and it's pretty newer building too. I remember when that was built, but then again, I'm old, so I guess it could be an old building.
It's 30 years old, so depending on who you ask, it depends how new or old it is. So, sure.
Haley, is that old?
It's older than me, so yeah.
Exactly. Hey, so how do Native American initiatives at the Minnesota History Center collaborate with the community and to hold events in your space?
Well, we do it multiple ways, and I'm here to use this as a resource. The History Center is just one of our 26 sites throughout the state. The James J. Hill House is one, the Mill City Museum, Fort Snelling, and then places out state like the Mille Lacs Indian Museum and Trading Post, Jeffers Petroglyphs, all kinds of things. So don't just limit us to the History Center. We're able to utilize different spaces to have programming and whatnot. And how we like to approach is really partner with community and be like, this is your space. The History Center is a space for you. So if you want to have your programming or having your event at the History Center, please reach out to us and we will help you coordinate that. We've had some storytelling events in the past, and we have actually a few things coming up in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, well, let's talk about those because I know there's a couple of events that I heard of that are really important, and we got to get that out there to our community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the most exciting one is the Native American College Fair, which is next Monday, October 21st. This is our second year hosting it at the History Center. It's really great because that building there's multiple levels, and to be able to utilize that entire space is really great for that event. There's going to be over 40 different post-secondary opportunities sharing really about colleges, financial aid, other opportunities to do besides college after high school. And another great aspect to that is we have an auditorium space where they have speaker panels talking about what to do, how to do financial aid, how to apply for college, how to do all these things. So there's a lot of different things going on. And it's a really great thing. It's exciting because you see all the young students who are just trying, figuring out, well, what do I do after high school? What does that look like? And I think it's a really fun time. And there's also Native food trucks that are going to be there too. So that's always a plus for us.
Yeah, definitely. Talk a little bit about the parking because it's really easy to get there and park.
Yeah, if the parking we have a full lot available for folks to come in and park. And so we try to make it as accessible as possible and really work with folks to be able to access that space. So we try to make, get rid of as many barriers as we're able to in order for community to be able to come to the History Center and not have to deal with anything extra that they might have to. And like thinking about, downtown St. Paul, sometimes there are those parking fees, there's parking ramps and all kinds of things like that. So trying to make things as easy as possible.
And it is. I just wanted to remind everyone of that if they've never been there, it's a easy way to get there and park and really make it accessible for the community. And that's awesome because I'm a parking warrior and I don't have to be there. I just pull up and choose from, if I get there early enough, choose my favorite parking spot.
Yeah.
So what else do we got? What else do we got going on here too? And I want to swing back and talk about the date later in the
Sure.
next segment again. But we got some we've had the people of this documentary that you're going to be showing, and I think it needs to be shown everywhere. And you guys are going to be showing this as I believe, a free event of the Bad River documentary.
Yeah, we're so excited to be able to show the Bad River documentary at the History Center on Thursday, November 7th, the evening. It's from 5 to 8. It's free. We have this lovely auditorium space, like I said, so it can be set up like a movie theater as well. I was like, we're not going to have all the snacks, but we'll be able to have access to the exhibits and other things because Thursday night is also our free night, any night every week. So if anybody is interested in coming to see the documentary, and then you can check out the exhibits and stuff too. So it's a great opportunity to come visit the History Center.
Yeah, it totally is. And what a powerful documentary. And it's on a couple of the streaming, but I really believe that powers with numbers and people watching it, and it's a different experience when you're watching something like this on the big screen with other people.
Yeah, I look forward to the conversations that we'll have with community members after the screening. I just am thinking about the future and why water is so important and all these other things. It's just I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, Rita, I don't know if you know this, but we started the show because of Standing Rock. And 8 years ago when that was going on and there was misinformation and things like that, or no information, and that's how Native Roots Radio started. And we talked about every week what was happening up in Standing Rock, and had guests, and Bad River's having the same issues as the Standing Rock tribe, and with Line 5 and Enbridge again. So it's a very powerful documentary, and it's free, and it's always great to see again, these kind of things with other people, and then you can discuss afterwards too.
Yeah, and you can come see our exhibits, Our Home Native Minnesota and Reframing Our Stories, if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and you can do that at the same day or anytime, or
Yeah, anytime. I was like, those exhibits are open in TBD until they're not. So please come visit.
Well, let's talk a little bit about those then too.
Okay. Well, Our Home Native Minnesota we're actually close to the 5-year anniversary of that. And we had all these hopes and dreams, but then COVID happened. So it has kind of changed how we do programming and stuff. So we're trying to reamp up, because it does tell the story of Indigenous Minnesota. And we really try to focus it through a contemporary lens, because one of the biggest things is that folks don't think that Native people still exist. And we confront that immediately. So nobody can get confused about where he's still here. This is what we do. This is important. All of these things are important to us and will remain to be.
Definitely, and that's powerful. And again, you can come see that on the free night or any other time. And the address, again, I want to just really bring that up again, is that it's 345 West Kellogg Boulevard in St. Paul, with plenty of parking. And the History Center has a lot of things to offer. There's other things going on in there too, but I know we're focusing on our Indigenous stuff, but there's so many other things too for other people to see.
Yeah, we have several exhibits on display at different times. One of the current exhibits that's a traveling exhibit from the Smithsonian is called Girlhood. And it is about, growing up as a female and what that is. And our Minnesota aspect, as I mentioned before, is about basketball. So we have folks like Brooke LaFleur talking about her basketball and everything, and just thinking about her tournament this past weekend. It's just so important to share those stories. And she also, really focuses on that missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. So I really appreciate that we were able to add that element to that exhibit. So that one is a limited exhibit. So please see that before it goes away in the spring. But there's a lot going on, and we have a library too. So if you want research stuff, we can totally talk about research stuff on day 2, because we have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you do. And I know a lot of Native American stuff, and your publishing company did Banished, which was the removal of Ho-Chunk from Minnesota. And I don't know if you know the numbers or who knows the numbers, but I feel like there's so many people that are interested in that history, that Minnesota history, that hasn't been talked about forever. And I know for our Native Roots Trading Post, we sold 100 books during the state fair of that.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for the MNHS Press, because they've had a long-standing, fantastic relationship with Native communities, with Native authors, really diving deep into some of these histories for Native people, for us to tell us our stories from our perspective, and really collaborate with different authors. I did want to mention a new book, but I don't know if we should wait to do that or not, because it is a really powerful story about the Mille Lacs Band. That a new book is coming out about that.
Well, yeah, we got a couple of segments and we're going to take a break here in another minute or so. So maybe we can talk about it really slow and then get into it the next segment. No.
Sure. That's really slow. I was like, no, well, I was like, I will preface that it is written by Bruce White, who is non-native, but he is ally. I lovingly call him Uncle Bruce. He knows a lot. He's done a lot of good work with Native communities and wrote Minnesota Makoche along with Gwen Westerman, among with many other titles. So he knows a lot. I use his research all the time to help when I'm doing some of my work. So I greatly appreciate him. So I'm happy to talk about his book coming up soon.
Excellent. Let's do that. Hey, we're with Rita Arndt and we're talking Minnesota historical stuff, and you're the Native American Initiative person, and we're excited to have you and talk about it. I love history, so let's get it on and talk about it. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Stay with us. The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Minneapolis Institute of Art is featuring the art and legacy of Jody Falwell, a groundbreaking potter from Cabo Owinga, New Mexico. Over the past 50 years, Falwell has revolutionized Pueblo pottery and native art by weaving in personal, political, and social stories into her pieces. Her exhibition titled Opawa Omung shows the incredible range of her work and the impact she's had on both native and contemporary American art. You can check it out at MIA through January. For more info, visit artsmia.org.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Again, that's vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. This is Spirit from Reservation Dogs. Get up and listen.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
How? You know that bumper with it always still cracks me up. I laugh every time I hear that. And we've had it on like a year and a half. We got a new bumper too from Dallas. From Dallas Cold Tooth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, we're here with Rita Arndt, and we're talking about what's happening at the Minnesota History Center. And Rita is the program and outreach manager with Native American Initiatives at the Minnesota Historical Society. And we want to talk about what you want to talk about. It sounds like there's a cool book coming on that I'm going to have to get.
Yeah. Like I mentioned before the break, it's written by Bruce White, who is fantastic, and he is fun to talk to. And he also knows a lot about my genealogy, which I'm all like, I'm so-and-so. He's like, oh, and then he goes down the line. It cracks me up, but that means he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. And what is it the history, or how long does he go back? Tell us a little bit about the book.
Okay, so the book is titled "They Would Not Be Moved" in the enduring struggle of the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe to keep the reservation. So that's a long title, but essentially the short one is like "They Would Not Be Moved," and it dives into the deeper story of how the Mille Lacs Band of Ojibwe has been the unremovable band, and how they really lean into that, because there was a lot of legislation, especially after the Dawes Act, to try to remove all Ojibwe folks either to White Earth or Red Lake. And there was some success. There's a lot of band members from Mille Lacs who are part of White Earth now, because they were removed. So they really have a proud history of being able to not be removed. So this book really dives deeper into that struggle and what that really meant for them and how it's impacted them.
Yeah, and you guys, the Ojibwe have been here. There's I want to say traveling story, but it's called. You came from the east and came to find and stop where you found food that floated on water. Can you explain that story to our listeners?
Yeah, so there was a great migration. Us Anishinaabe were out east, a little more to the Atlantic Ocean coast, and there was a prophecy that told us that we had to move and that we would know when to stop when we found the food that grows on water, which is wild rice. So I always joke, because I was like, it was a long trip. We took some stops, but there is a lot of stuff with it. There's a lot of teachings. There's a lot of relationships we made, and then really talking about how different groups ended up places. So it's a really important part of our history. And so we like to share that story a lot.
Well, it is history, and again, I love history. And when I hear things like that, or we heard about that, it's an amazing resilience and things like that. Because following the path, it's not like you're in Florida or Hawaii taking a trek. It was pretty north, and it's an amazing story. And that's about 500 years ago, right?
That we arrived around this area, but I believe we started their journey about almost 1,000 years ago. So it took us a little while, but it was this nice, like the way that we traveled. Again, there's the elements. We did travel north. It was mainly on waterways. So to really move all these people, I cannot imagine, but it's very exciting to talk about, and to think that I am descended from those who migrated so many years ago.
That's amazing. And 1,000 years must have took really small steps to get here to Minnesota. No,
we stopped. There was some stops. We made some friends. We might have made some enemies, but there's a lot of good stories and teachings that go along with that migration. And so if you don't know about it, please look into it, because it's a really fascinating history of our people.
It is, and the older I get, the more I really appreciate the Anishinaabe and what they've gone through. And now I have to really appreciate them, because my son-in-law is Anishinaabe, a Leech Laker, so that means my grandkids are too.
Yeah, we got it. Us Shanab, we got it going on. So, but I'm a little biased, and it's what I know. So I love it, and I love our history.
Definitely. Well, let's get back here. We only have like a few more minutes again on the last segment, and let's talk about again what's going to be showing and happening at the History Center in the next month or so.
Yeah. So next Monday is the Native American College Fair. It's all day, 9 to 7. There are 4 sessions throughout the day, and most of them are meant for, Indian education students, but there is a public session in the evening from 5 to 7 p.m. So if anybody is interested in learning about those opportunities, please come to the History Center and stop by. Another event that we're having is showing the Bad River documentary, which is on Thursday, November 7th, and it's from 5 to 8. And I don't believe it's 3 hours long, so there'll be plenty of time to be able to talk about it after, to visit the exhibits that are at the History Center, and just to be with community. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's awesome. And, I just want to wish you again a big happy Indigenous Peoples Day. And as you know, for me, it's always Indigenous Peoples Day for me, but it was great to see you and And in the work that you do, really proud relative over here, and it's great seeing you in the community. And yeah, I can't say any more. Any last words before we let you go?
I was like, I'm just happy to talk about history and resources for any of our Indigenous relatives. So please reach out, and I'm happy to help. Let's work together.
Right on. Email address.
Oh, mine's really long. It's like my first and then last name, full last name at mnhs.org. So you're going to have to copy and paste.
Yeah. Or smoke signals work. Smoke signals work.
You might that might be faster if I'm typing out my name.
Rita, thank you so much for coming on. And I can't wait to do this again. You could do great work. And again, we're really proud of you and speaking for and with our Native community. That means a lot to us because we're still here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Miigwech. Good to see you, Robert and Haley.
Right on.
Likewise.
Right on. Have a great day. Hey, Haley, we went and voted today, Wendy and I.
I saw that. Yeah, I early voted as well. Proud of you
Yay.
guys. And yeah, it's awesome. I want to mention quickly the Bad River film documentary.
Yeah.
Just got word today that they're up for the film documentary itself, and the narrator, Quanah Chasing Horse, are nominated for 3 Critics' Choice Awards. So if you haven't seen the Bad River documentary yet, I would strongly encourage you to go see this free screening at the Minnesota History Center in St. Paul.
And when we talked about that documentary, Haley, when we had the writer and the director, we got emotional at the very end.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Mary Mazzeo is a great ally of us Native people. And we've had Bad River Elder Joe Bates on the show too, talking about it. And I got to say, well, the whole documentary itself was great, but really emotional towards the end. If I'm remembering correctly, it was what advice would you give the next generation to come? And it was kind of, they interviewed these people who are here now today and just giving, advice and saying how proud of the next generation to come. And it was just really emotional, and just proud to be Native.
It was. And I didn't want to change the subject back to voting, but I was amazed. Just before we showed up, we went there about 3:30. There was a line out in the block. So there's a lot of excitement going on with this election. A lot of people early voting, and that was amazing to see and hear.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the early voting,
I know,
that means good things.
Yeah. So you can send in, if you have your mail-in ballot, I would advise you to get that filled out and sent in, or look at your early voting places.
Absolutely. Haley, great job as always. Thank you for producing another great show here at Native Roots Radio. I can't say enough about you. Doing such a great job for us, really.
Thank you.
Wendy and I talk about you all the time, and in a good way.
Tina Gigi, thank you.
Right on. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. From Chief Plentycooks, the ground in which we stand on is sacred ground. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. Vote, 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 vote.
And free Leonard Peltier now.
Crooner's Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. Before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays beginning at 4:30 with cocktails and light fare. And you don't need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. Crooner's Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65. A little piece of old school nightlife in the 21st century.
If you're someone that counts on AM 950 to bring you the latest in progressive politics, news, and talk, remember, we can't do it alone. Support our many great advertisers and let them know you heard about their business on AM 950. If you don't know who to talk to, simply write AM 950 on your receipt. AM 950 is supported by small local businesses, so you're not only helping us and those businesses, but our local economy as well. For a complete list of our sponsors, log on to am950radio.com.
Hey, Minnesota, it's your favorite sexy liberal. Join me and my fellow cohorts in liberal justice weekdays from 8 to 11 on AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. After former President Donald Trump's decisive presidential election victory, Vice President Kamala Harris is urging her supporters to accept the results but not abandon their cause.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted.
Harris says while she's conceding the race to Donald Trump,
I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
in a speech at Howard University, her alma mater, which was to be the site of her victory speech, Harris says the fight must go on.
In the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square.
Harris says she called Trump to congratulate him. The White House says President Biden did the same, inviting his predecessor turned successor to meet with him soon. The president will address the election results Thursday. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Kaiser Family Foundation's Ashley Kurzinger on what the AP Votecast survey tells us.
About 4 in 10 voters said the economy and jobs was the most important issue facing this country. And Donald Trump had an 8-point advantage on this issue over Vice President Harris. Many voters reported being very worried about their personal economic situation. Large majorities of voters said they were concerned about being able to afford gas, groceries, the cost of housing, and the cost of health care.
Seth Suttel reports Wall Street rallied on the election result.
The S&P 500 jumped 2.5%, its best day in 2 years. The Dow soared 1,508 points. It's about 3 6/10%. The Nasdaq Composite climbed 3%. Bank stocks led the gains as investors expected Trump's policies will lead to stronger economic growth and less regulation. Treasury yields ran higher in the bond market. That reflected expectations of stronger growth, more borrowing by the government, and possibly worsening inflation. Seth Suttel, New York.
This is AP News.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text REP to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text REP to 42424. That's REP to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat.
My friends, this is Gregory Rich, host of Drink in the Style, and I want to invite you to my new program iteration, Drink in the Style Live. That's right, live radio broadcast hosted at 9 Mile Gallery in the District Edina in front of a live studio audience. The first Saturday of every month, 9 p.m. right here on AM 950 and streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Drink in the Style Live. See you there.
Did you know Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken airs 5 nights a week at 10 p.m.? That's 5 nights of talking about ghosts, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. We're talking about the paranormal every Monday through Friday with some of the most trusted names in the field. Join us and step into the unknown with Ghostbox Radio with Greg Bakken, Monday through Friday at 10 p.m. Only if you dare.
This is Andy Otto, your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified, inviting you to join us this Saturday at 3 p.m. as we get to know Arnold Dahl Woolley, a member of the Leech Lake Band of Ojibwe, who is also a Two-Spirit educator and activist. We'll chat with Arnold about the great work he's doing in building community in the Bemidji area, including the opening of a new community space. That's this Saturday at 3 p.m., right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. This is Andy Otto.
Hey, it's Patrick. We're headed full speed ahead into the holiday season, so the biggest question facing your home is going to be, is it ready for the holiday season? And if you look around at your carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, and the answer is no, you need to call My Cleaning Heroes at Zero Res. Some people hire a deal of the day carpet cleaner to save a little money, but trust shouldn't come that way. Think about it. There is no licensing required to be a professional carpet cleaner. Don't DIY it. Call Zero Res because you know it's safe and effective. The Zero Res Gotta Love It guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. Zero Res absolutely stands behind every cleaning, so go ahead and get clean and don't miss this deal. Get back to clean and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 and take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now at 952-ZERO-RES or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
This is Andy.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for cloudy skies tonight with a low around 37, Thursday sunny with a high near 49, and Friday sunny with a high around 55. Since 1984, Cafe Latte has been a hotspot for American eats and desserts. Enjoy gourmet salads, sandwiches, and soups with a unique cafeteria-style setup. Don't miss the pizza and wine bar offering gourmet pizzas and over 30 wines by the glass. Explore the bakery for fresh treats. Located off Victoria and Grand, more at cafelatte.com.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Radio Show, the Wednesday edition, the post-election hangover edition, the oh my God, it's Trump 2.0 edition, and I've got to decompress. I got a good friend right now, a friend of the Devil's. He's Bill Press. Find his fine work at BillPressPod.com. But Bill, thank you so much. I know you were thinking about canceling, but I appreciate you sucking it up and showing up, man. How are you?
I've had better days. Yeah, we've
the understatement of the moment.
We've all had better days, right? Yeah. You know, oh God, I never saw this coming. I really thought, in the end, the last 10 days, the wheels were coming off the Trump wagon, right? I thought Kamala Harris was at her finest in the last 10 days. That the speech at the Ellipse was great. Her rallies were bigger and bigger. Trump's rallies were smaller and smaller. And he had such, ugly rhetoric there toward the end. And her message was all one of, which I thought most Americans would relate to, right? Hope and optimism and going forward and working together. We're not against you. We'll give you a seat at the table. Well, listen, just the opposite of Donald Trump. I have to tell you, so way back in the 70s, in Richard Nixon's day, there was a great Democratic operative in California. But I don't know whether you know, Dick Tuck was his name. Dick Tuck was very famous. Yeah, I know. No.
Go ahead. Tell the story.
He was known as a prankster. He was a college student when Richard Nixon was running against Nandagikendan Douglas for Congress. There's a point here. I'll get to it. And this is how he got started. And his professor said, the Nixon campaign needs somebody to set up this event for Richard Nixon. Hey, Dick, would you do it? And he didn't even ask. Dick's politics were 100% for the Democrat, Nandagikendan Douglas. So he said, yeah, I'll do it. So he hired this huge auditorium, huge amphitheater, and he invited like 10 people. So Nixon shows up, and there was a handful of people in this huge auditorium. And then he introduced Nixon, and he spoke for an hour and a half, and then introduced the candidate.